Welcome back to another episode of Not for the Weak Minded. This episode is going to be about a few different subjects, but they are all connected, and I hope that you listen to the end, because it should open your eyes up to the knowledge of, for example, in this case, weather modification and how it's being used to flood the earth, and that they've basically plan to control the weather using artificial intelligence. And I hope that you stick with me on this presentation, because I do have a lot of information here, but they are a lot of tiny bits of information that you can see and understand quite clearly as to what's really been going on. It's just whether you really want to accept that the government is conspiring against its citizens, enslaved to soul with money, etc. So this guy, Charles Hatfield, made it rain using chemicals. Basically, I'm not going to read it all. I'll leave the links in the description. A century ago, San Diego was in dire need of some water, and it's going into damming and lakes and stuff. But he uses chemicals. So Hatfield graduated from yet another school of rainmaking that emerged. A school of rainmaking, you know what I'm saying? So they knew this, they had a school about it, that emerged in the 1890s, in which practitioners brewed secret chemical formulas that they burned in an attempt to produce fumes that would make clouds blossom into rain producers. So this is to do with cloud seeding, right? By the time he made his offer to San Diego in 1915, Hatfield could point to 17 contracts he had signed with commercial entities ranging from cotton growers in Texas to mine operators in Alaska. He commanded as much as $4,000, that's probably a lot in 1890, in return for the delivery of the 4-inch rainfall that he typically promised to municipalities across Southern California as a result of his chemical concoctions. He basically, I'm not going to tell you the whole story. If you want to read it, you can. I'll just give you the long short of it. He made it rain all right, and went to prison because of it, because he ended up flooding the town. So that was in when? 1890. So move forward to World War II, and I probably could have done it for World War One if you look hard enough, and the weather war of World War II. And I will leave it on again, but it goes into details about, because we knew they were doing chemical warfare and biological warfare, and that relates to chemtrails, that relates to open air tests that the governments have actually told us that they've done. If you Google it, open air chemical biological tests on the British citizens, and they got away with it. Still doing it. With Operation Popeye, the US government made weather an instrument of war. And this is about Vietnam, flooding the Ho Chi Minh Trail, right? Flooding them out. And people think it's not real. People have no idea, you know what I mean? And they need to look at what the military have been doing, right? And look at patents. So the elephant in the sky, chemtrails, contrails, and climate engineering. I basically brought this one up to show you that there's a pit, there's chemtrail planes. Specifically, there's one that they've designed. I should have brought the article up and put it there. But they're on. I sort of read an article earlier about saying that they've got a new plane designed to help block out the sun. You know who's responsible for that if you know and following the Truther community. We will get to that person shortly. Oh, what a surprise. It's going to be a lovely surprise for a lot of you, I hope. But anyway, the elephant in the room, chemtrails don't exist, but clearly they do. And there is a difference between contrails. There is no such thing as distails. They're just making it up. Just like when I went to school, there was only 3 really major types of clouds. Now there's how many ridiculous types? And then you go look at the sexes and the stuff and the all that stuff that they're going to be pushed into the kids' minds, and you just think, wow, they've gone through a great deal of effort here. So anyway, this is the pie chart for global warming, greenhouse gases. You notice that water vapor or H2O, water vapor, is not even included in this, right? So yeah, I'm going to say go back to here for a quick second. Not only are they dumping chemicals on us, right, to block out the sun and to make a... damn it, I should have put that on there as well. I don't know whether you've seen it, but it was on Facebook, and there was a hot air balloon footage. No, it wasn't. They were on a plane. I think it was a plane. And basically, there's 2 layers of clouds. You know what I mean? They went for a layer of clouds, and then there's like blue sky, and then there's another cloud above their heads. So there's I wish I put that on there. I will try and find that. I'll put it as a video. So there is a difference between contrails, which do water vapor as well. So even if you want to include this phenomenon into it, contrails is water vapor, and water vapor is obviously water, right? And yet on this, where's water? It's not. You know what I'm saying? You go look at any global warming pie chart and you won't find H2 on it. Meaning it's a hoax. It's got false negatives in the data. Just create it just to fool everyone without really thinking about things. So there we go. Researchers ban patents on geoengineering technology. Physicist David Keefe, who has been working on technologies to block sunlight to slow global warming, argues that such efforts need to remain in the public domain. Now, how many of you that are watching know about the patents and of geoengineering technology in the public sector? Let's say, do your friends know? Do your parents know about these things? So how has it ever remain in the public sector to begin with? It hasn't. You have to look for this information, and that's the problem, because a lot of people are either in fear of this information or they just can't be bothered to look. They'd rather play their games or watch movies or whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever they do. Whatever distracts you from actually looking at certain bits of information to change your perception of reality towards the truth. I'm not going to read it. Basically, I agree, it should be banned. And it's under the banner of sustainability, right? Now that's important to remember. So the 15 places most affected by extreme weather events in the last 20 years. Written January 2nd, 2020. Again, I'll leave the links in the descriptions. Now this one, what I'm going to show you now, you just think, oh, it's global warming, you won't think it's deliberate flooding from geoengineering, right? Cloud seeding technologies. You wouldn't, because you don't get that the governments are doing this to everyone, right? No matter where you live. Specifically, they're doing it for an agenda, and they've got a strategic plan, right? And certain places are going to hit at certain times. You get my drift. And that is down to AI. That's down to algorithms. That's down to decades planning, centuries if not. Dominica. Oh, by the way, take note of the names. Nepal, right? because the next page I'm going to show you is a document, and that document's going to show you a list of places that currently, and I'm saying currently, are using weather modification technologies. All right, Bangladesh, Vietnam. Notice how a lot of these places are not controlled by the banking industries and live a certain different way of life, comparatively speaking, to the Western civilization. Pakistan, Philippines, Haiti, Myanmar, Puerto Rico, right? None of these are beast nation states apart from France. They're all, places that are very self-sufficient if they want to be. That have a lot of resources, right? So they want to take out the agricultural industry within these countries, just like they try to do with ours. 2008, if I believe. So, let's have a look. So this is the World Meteorological Organization Commission for Atmospheric Sciences, the 6th Joint Science Committee of the World Weather Research Programme, or the WMO. So this is a report from an expert team on weather modification research for 2012-2013. Now, you can do the if you really want to read the instructions. I'm going down here, and these are the countries. Let's just read the top bit. The following list of countries with weather modification programs was assembled from several sources. The World Meteorological Organization maintained a register of national weather modification programs. The WMO published the proceedings of its 10th scientific conference on weather modification, with most of the papers report on weather modification in the author's home countries. World Meteorological Organization 2012. Finally, the membership of the team provided information on activities that they were involved in. The list created in this fashion identifies 42 countries with active weather modification projects. And there we go. Algeria, Argentina, Australia, Austria, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Bulgaria, Burkina Faso, Canada, Chad, Chile, China, Cuba, France, there you go, Germany, Greece, India, Indonesia, Iran, Israel, Japan, Jordan, Korea, Libya, Macedonia, Malaysia, Mali, Mexico, Mongolia, Morocco, Pakistan, Philippines, Romania, Russian Federation, Saudi Arabia, hailstones from hell there, Senegal, Serbia, South Africa, Syria, Spain, Thailand, another one, United Arab Emirates, Uzbekistan, Zimbabwe. Right. So let me just carry on reading. So in my personal opinion, not trying to be a prophet here or anything, but just stating the obvious, that I expect all these countries to have problems with flooding in the near future, in the past, or coming. As I said, they've planned this a long time, and most people don't get the scale of how global these people are in their determination and their ideologies, because there is secret societies that exist on every continent, believe it or not. So bloody hell, Keith. In addition, individual members of the team received requests for advice from the following countries: Ecuador, Chile, Mexico, Costa Rica, Jordan, Iraq, Brazil and Kenya. Right, I'm not going to read anymore. Hold on, it's got a pentagram up. If you really want to read the rest of it, please do. I've got more to show. This just proves that it's real, right? If you're still listening and you're still thinking in your mind that weather modification is not real, then I can't help you anymore. because this is proof. Frequency of intensive flooding, alright, I'll put that in, but of intense floods and storms could double in 13 years, says study, under this climate crisis. Right? No. Increased weather modification from these countries, and others are going to join in, potentially them, are going to flood the entire fucking earth. Gotta stop it, man. So, yeah, they predict the amount of storms and floods are going to double in 13 years. But people still don't believe in geoengineering and weather modification. I can't, So anyway, geoengineering. We're cooling Earth by accident. Now we might try it on purpose. Expect things to get very difficult for a lot of people if these people carry on their agendas with the weather modification program. So Earth's moving mantle leads to earthquakes in unusual places. No, the Earth is stationary. Everything we've been told is a lie. They're using these lies to get away with mass genocide. Do you get it, folks? I can't stress the importance of understanding the great evil and tenacity of our common enemy. The things and lengths they have gone to actually fulfill what they are trying to do today to us, which is to take away all our rights, to imprison us with no say over an epidemic that that was a planned event. So these unusual places that are getting earthquakes, they're getting hit by what? But HAARP, secret weapon used for weather modification, electromagnetic warfare. I'm not going to go into this, but at this facility, and they are not just one but many across the earth, has the capability of creating hurricanes, earthquakes, tsunamis, by manipulating electromagnetism. The Earth is a frequency-based reality, right? So, I've got more to show. Space Force. Trump officially launches new US military service. This is old news, right? And what you might think, why am I bringing this up? Oh dear. This is what I'm trying to say at the start, that I'm not just talking about the weather modification. I'm trying to move into other subjects that relate to it and make you see the bigger picture, which is coming. And always it's something that most people need to know but will barely believe. So US military top secret anti-spacecraft TR-3B, right? So this is on Pakistan Defense for some reason, uploaded recently. In fact, it's not even the 1st of May 2020 yet, is it? Well, it might be in Pakistan. No, it can't be. That's weird, right? Don't you think that's weird? It's 30th of April today. So, US Navy secretly designed super-fast futuristic aircraft resembling UFO, documents reveal. And there it is. This is the TR-3B. Now these things have got cloaking technologies. They've also built a mothership, essentially, that's in low Earth orbit. Oh dear. This is part of something much bigger than most people I can imagine. And I don't really want to go down that rabbit hole right now. But again, it has to do with an alien invasion or supposed alien invasion. Well, they fight the gods, right? They fight the gods that live in the mountains, the sacred places, trying to destroy the earth. Because there's a war going on around us that most people have no clue about. That goes way beyond humanity, because we're just in the middle of it. So, being used at that, mostly. Talk about Bill Gates, shall we? This channel, recommend subscribing to it. Great work. Trans investigation of Bill Gates as a woman. Interesting, right? I just thought I'd break it up a little. Let's talk about Bill Gates a bit. So he's a woman. We all know about the vaccines. We all know that, he's a terrible person for doing atrocious things through his philanthropic, Freemasonic way, charitable ways. But he's also partly fronting, financially that is, a project to block the sun. Now, people have forgot this, I think. They don't mention it. They just keep blanging on about the vaccines. But I think this one's equally as important. Don't you think? So, could dimming the sun save the earth? Bill Gates wants to spray millions of tons of dust into the stratosphere to stop global warming. But critics fear it could trigger calamity. So yeah, they just... Tons of chalk dust, they say. 12 miles above the Earth's surface, and then sprinkled a lot high around the stratosphere. 800 giant aircraft would lift millions of tons of chalk. In theory, the airborne dust would create a gigantic sunshade reflecting some of the sun's rays and heat back into the space, dimming those that get through and so protecting Earth from the worsening ravages of climate warming. Oh dear. What are we saying? Sorry, where is it? Where the hell have I put it? Winter's coming, folks. Game of Thrones, winter's coming. And the zombies are those unconscious. Right? It's in the programming. Can I help that? No, I don't think so. I'm trying. So yeah, winter's coming, folks, because Bill Gates is blocking the sun. And when that stuff happens, no one's going to be eating anything, but, in certain locations particularly. So yeah, this is just calling it by accident, even though, wait. They already started. 2018. And yeah, I've showed you, right? Just bear with me. That geoengineering and knowledge of it goes back to World War II, Vietnam War. It goes back further, of course. But obviously, they've gutted out planes to build chemtrail planes. They've got a specific plane that they've designed now for the future of geoengineering, which is this. Wait, because there's two plans here. There's the get your ass on the balloons. Yeah, we'll just chuck loads of stuff out on balloons. Save the planet. Yeah, let's chuck loads of salt down on them. And that's the thing they're trying to emulate, right? Because it cools the planet down. We'll just let the volcanoes go off then, right? If they're real, to cool the planet down, which they are. These things are part of nature, but they're not what we've been told, for sure. And a lot of these things, the places across the earth that are active, are actually bombs. Massive deception. They've So anyway, there's the example. I'll give you an illustration. So it's not an unfeasible tactic, right? To block out the sun using in this case, calcium carbonate dust. So that's one plan. And yet there's another one. So yeah, it sounds like a wacky idea out of science fiction. Not really. Not when you know that it's been going on for decades, right? But it's backed in part by billionaire Microsoft founder Bill Gates and top scientists from Harvard. Yeah, because they're trustworthy there, and they're not connected at all to any secret society or, ritualistic traditions. The researchers believe that a fleet of specially designed aircraft could spray sulfate particles in the lower stratosphere to cool down our planet and offset the effects of climate change. When, get it, climate change is geoengineering, right? The Earth is not a globe. A test of the technology has been proposed for this year, the Daily Mail reports, with the stratostrophic controlled perturbation experiment. And they've always got their alphabet soup. Seeing a bag of carbonate dust released into the stratosphere 12 miles up. The researchers suggest jets flying 12 miles up would complete over 60,000 missions in 15 years, starting with a fleet of 8 and moving up to 100 planes. There's the plan. And they've already got the fleet in place. They've already built them. It's all being readied to be controlled by artificial intelligence, but they need their 5G grid up to do it. Hence, that's the problem here, folks. They can't do what they plan without 5G. And without 5G, their plans are kaput. They're not doing it. So if we resist 5G, we have a great chance at having a better future for every living being on this earth. The fight is nowhere near over by a long means. So Bill Gates, this woman, right, is transgender and is so yeah, he's part of paying for people to block out the sun to make it colder, right? So anyway, Northwestern Journal of Technology and Intellectual Property, Volume 13, Issue 1, Article 1. Exclusive rights to saving the planet, the patenting of geoengineering inventions. And this goes into the exclusive rights to saving the planet, as it says. Who can and who has which patent, and I read a little bit about it, and there's court cases up against people copying other people's patents on this, and how they're trying to scramble over who wants to save out the world using geoengineering inventions. It is ridiculous. However, it is an academic paper, right? That if you are academic, you should read, right? I don't need to read this stuff. Not entirely. I know what's going on. So next. Oh, here's another one. I'm going to show you quickly. Nanotechnology, geoengineering. This is the future, folks. This is the plan. An upstream technological assessment of two converging technologies. This is the plan. Again, you should read this. I need to read this myself because I'm sure there's plenty of things that I've missed. But I'm trying to give you the bigger picture, right? So that we can all work together to expose this together. Because look at this manifesto, man. 65 pages, right? About nanotechnology geoengineering. You wait. So weather engineering and its undesirable side effects on the environment, natural resources, agriculture and human health. Again, I recommend reading this because you'll learn that they're not going to... Already, through geoengineering, every single thing living on this earth is infected because they've spread barium and aluminium. So it says there, like, it's based on a building synthetic chemical clouds of aluminium oxide as Welsh-back particles to reflect the heat coming from the sun's back in the upper atmosphere and thus cooling the air on Earth. The applied aerosol mixture contains also nanoparticles, listen now, of barium monoxide, which reacts with CO2 when reaching the troposphere, because they want to take away our oxygen, folks. They want to get rid of all carbon. That's not good for us, is it? It's not good for any life, because they need our carbon. So, but their plans is to get rid of, make that zero, folks. Zero emissions. Do you understand? That's dangerous. Again, when reaching the troposphere, turning into barium carbonate and bicarbonate, leading to minimization of its content in the atmosphere on the long run. In 2000, the UN approved the first global weather engineering project in the history of mankind to combat the global warming by chemtrail technology for the period from 2000 to 2050, folks. Look. There it is. There's Agenda 2130. It started 50 years ago. There it is. The 50-year plan I showed you earlier. Right? It's all there. And all the billions they give to the space agencies go into doing this, building this, giving the money to the universities, because they want to do that. They've been doing this. So again, that was just a small abstract, and you will see in this how badly it's been affecting humanity, to the point where, they show you a few graphs. Mortality rates in humans increased as function of the decreasing horizontal air visibility caused by chemtrails dusts in the US. You think there's no connection to why 1 in 2 of us are getting cancer today? Look at that. Health problems, pneumonia-like respiratory symptoms, frequent headaches, sinus congestion, asthma. And that list can go on and on and on. We're in a frequency war, man. We're in a spiritual war. We're in a war to protect all living things, I'm afraid, because the people in charge are unethical. They are untrustworthy. They are pure evil and have planned and have been using these technologies to cull humanity, to control us, to round us up, to just devastate people living peacefully in many places on the earth. And I'll take you back to this. Right, all these countries doing it. You notice the United Kingdom's not on the list there. USA. Right. Of course we're doing it. All countries are involved in this. Par few. So yeah, this is what we're anticipated because of global warming, folks. And yet global warming is geoengineering. And I can't put it any more clear. You can't be any more clear than that. Where was I? Nanotechnology. Here we go. This one, yeah, the health effects. The trillion sensor vision. What's said about it? Trillion sensor economy is coming. Are you ready? By 2021, nearly 28 billion IoT devices and networks will be able to communicate with each other across a low latency infrastructure, 5G. According to a report from Research and Markets, we'll have more than 100 billion connected devices, each with a dozen sensors or more, worldwide by 2025. 5G connectivity and AI technology will fuel much of this transformation. Autonomous cars, biometric screening, wearables, AI-enhanced workplaces and smart living spaces will change the way we live, work and play, but behind all the radical innovation are basic manufacturing data and infrastructure needs. You need to know how to navigate. No, we don't. We don't want, if You want these things, and it comes at the cost of the health of all living things. You've got no heart. We can have a better world with technologies, as I said in the last video, but the way they're driving this with their agendas, United Nations Agenda 21 and 30, and what they're up to is going to end in disaster, as is written. So you need to read more about this, right? Like I said, I'm trying to show you the bigger picture here. So the internet of everything is coming. Are you ready? And again, this is the same principle. Wearables, etc. Augmented, virtual reality connected to humanity. So yeah, you look at the AI to control the weather for nanotechnology, and you'll be surprised what you find. Artificial intelligence and nanotechnology threaten civilization, right? Written 5 years ago. Look where we're headed. It's not all evil. It's, in fact, technology is not really evil. It's just how it's used, and the knowledge which is being used. Is unfortunately we've never been born into a good time. The people in charge are pure evil. There's no word about it. AI machines injected into our bodies could give us superhuman strength and let us control gadgets using the power of thought within 20 years. This is the ideologies that they want to use to make you do it. We'll give you superpowers, but not reality. In reality, you'll just be controlled by an artificial intelligence without no free will to even use anything but what they want you to. Because you'll be programmed by them. You'll have a job, and that if that job doesn't, work out, well, they just kill you. Never mind. Unless if it gets to altered carbon state. You know what I'm saying? Where you can actually get a backup of yourselves. I mean, this is the world we're coming towards. And as I was saying in the last video about superhumans and stuff, we can interact through the power of thought to manifest our will with our intentions. That's how it works. So you need the knowledge to manifest a different future. If you looked into now spiritual abilities and the capability of manipulating the weather for yourself using your mind and your thoughts, you'll be surprised what you find too. We can do these things. It's never going to tell you the truth about the human body and the human capabilities, because we're far superior than what they would ever want us to believe. And we are not all evil. We're not malevolent, really. We've been forced to be this way through centuries of changes. So AI nanomachines injected into humans will repair bodies from the inside. There we go, right? I tried to say in the last video that they want to save humanity, but with nanotechnologies, and there it is, right? So, and there's the last bit. I should have put that in the earlier bit. Nanotechnology for climate control, enabling Kardashev Type 1 or Type 2 civilization. So that has to do with traveling to space, having a full-blown civilization where it's all a utopia, right? Let's call it technological utopia, and they're capable of going to space and sprouting civilization in space. Obviously, that's Elon Musk again. I could have put that in there about him trying to go to Mars, right? It's never going to happen. It doesn't, the planets don't exist. It's a CGI fabrication based on false principles, because the Earth's stationary. The space is not forever expanding. right? As proven by observations and so-called satellites. They called it the sacred alignment of the Earth and space, the axis of evil. Tells me all I need to know. So please, again, share, like, subscribe. More to come.